Are we going to be live or no?
Nope, it's
No.
recording
Okay.
right now. So whenever you're ready.
Oh, it's live? Or, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, Christian Patriots, and welcome to Church and State, where we strive to plug you into the pew and plug you into politics. I'm your host, Caleb Collier. With me, as always, Pastor Gabe Blomgren.
How you doing, Caleb?
I am doing well. I am fighting the war against a brave new 1984.
Come on, that's what we do.
It's a good slogan, right? I think we might use that one. Hey, you've got a daily decree for us. Why don't you go ahead and open us up with that?
Yeah, today we're declaring a new season. And I believe that God has got a fresh season. We're coming into spring. The flowers are going to be out pretty soon. The green grass is going to be here. You know that sound, Caleb, when the birds start making noise again? You go outside right now, there's an absence of bird noise, but they're going to be here. I love that. Remember when we delivered mail and we would be walking in the spring and just hear the sound of the birds? You just knew the season was changing. So I speak that over us. Today we decree you are divinely transferred into a new and glorious season from the Lord. We command all the cycles of trouble, hindrance, warfare, and disappointment to cease in Jesus' name. We say a new prophetic declaration is being written over you that places you in a season of peace, prosperity, blessing, and restfulness. We bind the works of darkness from filling your mind with fear and resentment. We break the power of lethargy and apprehension that arose from the circumstances surrounding the former season, and we say that you are infused with new seeds of fresh fire, vision, excitement, and faith for what is ahead. We say you are advancing into greater days and that your joy shall be made full. It is your time to shine because a new and brighter season is upon you. I need that. And the reference is from Isaiah chapter 43 and verse 18 through 19. Remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Isaiah 43, 18 and 19. I receive that.
Yeah, that's
if you don't,
good.
I receive that.
No, I do, man. I really do. You know, the new studio, we're in the new studio, and you can check it out at churchandstate.media or on Facebook at churchandstate1776. But we've been having some issues here.
Oh, yeah. It's been a new season.
Yeah, we are here on a Sunday night. We've been here since 1.
Yeah.
It's about
grinding
what?
it out. It's a labor of love.
It's 8:30 right now in the evening on Sunday. We're pre-recording.
But the truth must march on.
It must, yeah. So we're looking forward to actually getting all of this ironed out. Hey, for our audience, I wanted to let everybody know, put this on your calendars. We've got a Vietnam-era veteran celebration. This is going to be Saturday, March 21st, so it's plenty of time for you to put it on your calendar. So it's going to be from 2 to 4 p.m., and it's going to be at 6147 West Harvest Avenue, Rathdrum, Idaho. It's the Running W Therapeutic Writing Center. The website is runningwranch.net. So go ahead and mark your calendars for that, and let's go out and show these Vietnam veterans that we really do appreciate the great sacrifice, especially with how they were treated by the leftists that had really taken over the country at that point. It was very, very tragic what these men endured.
What they came home to was horrific. It's still not the best at times, but yeah, that was a very dark season for soldiers going into a battle that for them was horrible and unfair. Yeah. It just was a no-win situation.
Absolutely, and they were handcuffed. They weren't allowed to fight war to win it.
Yeah.
They weren't allowed to strike enemy combatants that were a certain, I can't remember exactly, it was like a mile or 2 miles off of the main trail there. They couldn't bomb them or anything else. You can't win a war like that. It's just, Anyway. All right, let's get into some of these stories. And, Gabe, I'm actually going to call this show kind of leftist insanity because I've gone through and I picked, 6 stories here that are really going to showcase how weird the left has gotten.
Yeah.
All right. And so we're starting this one off first. I have small children, Gabe, so I enjoy this. You don't have to, you're not subjected to these kind of things anymore. But you went through your period of the Wiggles, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. It was horrible.
Well, this is even worse, man. We've got a leftist professor who claims Paw Patrol is a cartoon of capitalist propaganda. And this professor actually won't even let his own 2-year-old daughter watch this because he is so concerned with what they are teaching kids. All right. I mean, the story, it almost sounds like it should be coming from the Babylon Bee, but it's not. This is absolutely true. This is exactly what he wrote about. He's really upset because Number one, the cartoon um, shows the government officials, the two mayors that are in this cartoon. It shows them as inept. One of them is corrupt. The other one is kind of stupid, to be quite honest.
Right.
And so they have to rely on outside sources, which is this Paw Patrol organization headed by a child who he says should be in school anyway. He's very concerned that the child isn't in one of these government propaganda schools, right? And so, but yeah, he's upset because they have to rely on this private organization to actually fix anything in this fictional town where Paw Patrol occurs. And this thing is it was really it's a juggernaut, this Paw Patrol. I mean, my kids are obsessed with this thing. There's toys everywhere. They have them in parades and everything. Everybody's excited about it. And the message is really it's really a positive message. Their kind of their slogan, their tagline is no job's too big, no pup is too small. And he takes issue with this as well.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Because it's showing that that just with a little bit of hard work that you can achieve things. And he claims that the issue here is that there's so many issues that can, societal issues that can come about that could actually get in the way of anybody actually succeeding in life without government there. He
says that there should be structural barriers in our society with an individualist message. He says it ignores structural barriers. He believes that there's necessary barriers.
No. He's saying that there are structural barriers that keep people from being able to achieve this thing, and the cartoon doesn't actually showcase that.
Right.
So yeah, he's saying maybe
we need to be more realistic, is what he's saying.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe if
go ahead and dream crush
there's a brown dog maybe in this, that maybe the brown dog, because it's not a white dog, has some construct that doesn't allow it to succeed. It's basically his claim. It's ludicrous, absolutely ridiculous. All right, moving on from there. You didn't think it could get any worse than that. Although I will say this: hey, parents, if you're looking for a cartoon that maybe it's okay and safe for your kids to watch, there you go, Paw Patrol. All right, this next one is a really wild one, and Gabe, I want you to bring up that picture of her because she just looks absolutely scary. This is a feminist professor from England who practices the occult. Calls for human extinction to save the planet. That's right. She wants to kill us all in order to save the planet. Now, as I'm looking at this picture, and I'll describe it for our radio audience, this woman is in attire, Gabe. I mean, it looks like she's a witch. She looks like a practicing witch. And if there's any question about that, right down there on her waist there is a pretty big pentagram, right?
Yeah, that's disturbing.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, she looks. Is this somebody that we would want our students or are sending our kids to learn from?
Her lecture is called Vulvic Demonetilia.
Yeah, I don't even know what that
Vulvic.
That's, yes. I know what that means.
We can know the rest, and rather than the word, I'll just be honest, Demonetilia is still a play on that. It's very, very dark.
Yeah, so she admits, though, to being an occultist magician. And she's given lectures often in this kind of attire. Now, listen what she says here, Gabe. This is very interesting, okay? She says that the invocation of demons, which she says is an important feminist or queer practice, she says invoking demons is not entirely risk-free because madness is as likely as ecstasy.
So she knows there's a consequence.
Absolutely, she does.
That's dark.
It's extremely dark. And this woman is a professor at an English university. Okay, so she's, the article talks about the fact that she's not a weak-kneed climate activist, that this woman is really kind of what the radical left is promoting, this idea that eventually that we are a cancer, that we are a virus,
right,
and that we need to remove ourselves by whatever means necessary. And you're seeing a lot of people out there that are taking pledges to not have children in order to combat climate change. She's taking it to its logical conclusion, saying, you know what, we should just kill all humankind altogether.
Yeah, it reminds me of that girl who came up at a AOC rally and said, we need to start eating people.
Yeah. And everybody thought it was a joke.
Yeah, there's people out there who are like this.
And this is a great example of one that is. And she's, she's got this it's such a convoluted. I think I'll probably just try to read it actually. So she's a feminist. She's into queer theory. She's a vegan. Hey, Romans 14:2. Obviously, she's weak for not eating meat, but she she has this statement, and she's actually engages in a death cult as well. But let me see if I can get this right. It's really, really strange. Well, I keep getting sidetracked here, but she's talking about forced sterilizations with women.
Right. She says she's quoted as saying she once argued that animals are equal to human beings. Now she's arguing that humans should get out of the way entirely.
Yes. Okay, so listen if I can get this right. Okay, this is her book. It's called A Human Manifesto. Okay, this is her thesis. Collapsing activism, artistic practice, and affirmative ethics while introducing some specifically modern phenomena like death cults, intersectional identity politics, and capitalist enslavement of human and non-human organisms to the point of zombiedom. The Ahumanist Manifesto navigates the way in which we must compose the human differently, specifically beyond nihilism and post- and transhumanism and outside human privilege. That is, so that we can actively think and live viscerally with connectivity and with passion and grace toward a new world. That is an incredible leftist mouthful.
The thing that caught my attention was the term outside of human privilege.
Yeah.
So you and I have been talking a lot about this, Caleb, that we are image bearers of God, and that gives us exclusive, unashamed, not backing down privilege. It's not about a color of skin. It's not about a gender. It's about the fact that you are a human being made in God's image, and you are superior to any plant, any animal, any piece of ocean. That is so horrific for them to understand that Mother Earth,
Gaia,
will absolutely control itself. And these ants that roll around on it called human beings, it's hard for them to understand. We are superior to whatever they believe as the image narrative. Bearers of Christ.
Well, but it stands to reason that they would reject that, right? They don't want us to be able to lay claim to the earth, to have dominion of it, to actually go and subdue it like God commanded us to do.
And it's unreal. They don't understand that the earth in itself. Now I know we have to be good stewards of it. Okay, just like any other thing.
Exactly. All right.
It will. They don't understand this, that the earth has been around and it will stay around. It's not going anywhere.
Not until God decrees it.
Amen.
There's nothing we can do as humankind to either destroy or save the earth unless God wills it.
Amen.
All right. Next story is coming from Switzerland, which is interesting because, I know a lot of, just in the profession that I'm in, I know a lot of people that kind of take that expat narrative that if the United States falls, that they'll simply move to such and such country or this country.
As if we have a bunch of places to escape to.
Yeah, exactly. And they point to certain countries that have elements of freedom or liberty, and Switzerland is always one of those ones that they point to. Good luck moving there because it costs an incredible amount of money to actually become a citizen there.
Same thing said about New Zealand. Everyone thinks they're going to move to New Zealand, but it's a very exclusive privilege.
Oh, exactly. And, Chile was one for a long time, although there's been a lot of societal unrest there. Belize is another one. But the point is if America falls, do you really think a country like Switzerland or Belize can stand against globalism? Right. Absolutely not.
Yep.
All right. So here, Switzerland has voted to make homophobia a crime punishable by up to 3 years in prison. Can also include fines here as well. But 60% of the voters participating in this were in favor of this new legislation. And it declares discrimination, hate speech, and public insults aimed at individuals because of their sexual orientation. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's declaring that homophobia is not an opinion, it's a crime now in Switzerland. It's extremely dangerous, and they point out in the story that there's groups that are LGBTI groups. I don't know what's the I mean, but they actually said that the gay community does not need special treatment. And they're absolutely right. Right. And that's the thing about liberty. That's the thing about this representative republic that we currently live in. These people are all equal.
Yep.
You shouldn't have special treatment. No one should. Not when government's concerned. Yeah. Absolutely not. So hats off to this person who's on the LGBTQ spectrum, but is opposed to special treatment for homosexuality. Here's the thing. No government edict can make an actual homophobe or an actual racist or an actual sexist. No government edict is going to take that away from them. All they're going to do is censor themselves, but they're still going to hold on to those beliefs You can't change that with government.
Yeah, absolutely not. It just creates automatons. They're looking forward to the same thing that Aldous Huxley talked about: a society that governs itself. It's no longer forced slavery. It's no longer forced slavery. It's induced upon yourself.
Yeah, and that's good. I opened it up with fighting the war against a brave new 1984. And that's an example. And this is what I'm talking about. And we really need to actually dedicate an entire show to this. I know I've said this before, but we really are living in a brave new 1984.
Absolutely.
We are sedated and we are surveilled. And we enjoy both. It's wild. America, where you see in Europe, it's more of the brave new world. And in China, you're seeing more of the 1984.
Right.
And we're a blending of the two. It's very interesting.
It is. That's a good point.
All right. So moving on to the next story here. Once again, sanity of the left. There's a group in Canada, actually. There's a Canadian group that it's government-funded feminist groups, and it's calling for banning heterosexual relationships. That's right. They actually get $120,000 from the Canadian government by taxes. So the people of Canada are actually forced to pay for this organization that is saying that we need to ban heterosexual relationships. Consider that. Think about that. That is absolutely insane. My wife, when I was telling my wife about this story, Gabe, she actually said, you know what? This would be an incredible experiment. Let them do it.
Yeah.
Let them do it in Canada, right, to where heterosexual relationships are banned, and see how long Canada as a country exists.
Listen to this quote. This is the insanity. Heterosexual couple relationships are really violent. In addition, the vast majority are relationships based on religion. It may be time to have a conversation about their ban and abolition.
Yeah.
This is not even marriages, Caleb. This is relationships. Yeah. This is insanity. I cannot,
That's why I called it that. The show is leftist insanity.
I'm losing my mind at these headlines.
I know.
Because it's one thing for us as, you and I have talked about the ins and outs of the law honoring marriage, where you and I have talked about it. It shouldn't even be something where the government has anything to do with marriage.
Yes.
This is a step issue. Even worse.
Oh,
this is just a relationship.
Yeah. And the state's going to engage in that, and they're going to say, I know maybe that you feel that you're heterosexual, right? Gabe and I, you guys are heterosexual, but because we're the Canadian state, we're going to say, you know what? No. You're not allowed to have a heterosexual relationship. You guys now have to have a homosexual relationship. It's forced upon you.
This is weird.
I mean, this is so dystopic. I'm blown away that this was. This is taxpayer funded. This is crazy.
This is second graders, man. Do you remember second grade, Caleb? Do you remember your first crush? It wasn't a dirty thing. You just thought that she was a pretty girl. Is there going to be teachers that are handing out demerits or detentions for you actively passing a note? We got note passing caught, I love you, so-and-so,
yes
do you
no.
like me? Check yes or no. Are they literally going to, this is unreal. This is our future.
Yeah. But this is what occurs when you allow unchecked statism, right? Is the end result is they're going to dictate every aspect of your life, and because they believe that they know best, they can decide things like your sexuality. Now reverse this, Gabe, and reverse this on them, and say something to the effect of homosexuality,
yeah.
Right? Homosexuality is abusive in nature, and we should make a law by the government that homosexual relationships are not allowed. This is exactly what they would say. They would say, we fought against that for years and years. How dare you say something like that? Well, why are you being such a hypocrite? Why are you dictating whether or not I can have a heterosexual relationship?
Yeah, this is insane.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to the next one, because they just keep getting weirder and weirder, Gabe. Right? All right. So listen to this guy. This guy's one of my new favorite instructors. This one coming out of Berkeley, or when I lived in California, we actually called it Berserkly because of how weird it is there. So this instructor says rural Americans are bad people who deserve to live uncomfortable lives. Okay, guy's name is Jackson Kiernan, and this is what he tweeted. I unironically embrace the bashing of rural Americans. They as a group are bad people who have made bad life decisions. Some, I assume, are good people, but this nostalgia for some imagined pastoral way of life is stupid, and we should shame people who aren't pro-city.
Oh, my.
Yeah, this is right. So he goes on to say that the government should actually force it to cost more, force cost on who decide to live rural lifestyles. Okay, so he says that broadband and rural healthcare should cost more in an attempt to actually force people to move into the cities. Now, this is Agenda 21. This is exactly Agenda 21, Agenda 2030. This is exactly what he's doing here. But somebody should remind this moron that without rural people farming,
you're not going to eat.
You're not going to eat, exactly. Without ranchers and farmers, the backbone of America, you're not going to eat. What do you think that people just like chickens just lay eggs in the cartons at your grocery store? Is that what he thinks? Like, these people are so without an idea of what it actually takes to live and produce things in America. It's just, it boggles the mind.
Here, what's even richer is he's reportedly to have taught 11 philosophy courses at the California University. This young man is grading large sums of people on their worldview.
Yeah. This is the thing, man.
Like, I sorry to be graphic, but they are defecating on the minds, and they're paying for it. These kids are paying for it. They're literally defecating into their brain. And this is their thought processes.
Yes.
That city life is superior somehow.
So here's my suggestion, okay? And I'm going to take all of these, including the one that I haven't even talked about yet, but I'm going to throw an experiment. This is what you remember Escape from L.A.?
Yes, love the movie. Kurt Russell?
Yeah, where there was a gigantic earthquake, right? And a portion of California went into the ocean, became an island.
Yes.
Okay, so this is what I propose, that we do something like that, or we find an uninhabited island, and it doesn't even have to be a nasty one. It could be some tropical paradise. And we enact all these things. All right, so number one, the liberal professor. So there's no Paw Patrol on this island, first off. Okay.
First, cut that out.
Cut that out completely. Okay, so you're not allowed to breed according to this feminist.
Right.
This satanic feminist. Okay, so the whole point is actually extinction.
Sterilization.
While you're on this island.
Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you die. It's just you. There's no kids coming.
In Switzerland, so then we take the Switzerland policies, and so homophobia is punishable by 3 years in prison.
Okay, so there's prison on the island.
All right, and then we'll take the Canada one and apply that to this island as well. So now all heterosexual relationships are actually banned because they're violent. Okay, and then you have to live in a city center. You cannot live in this.
So on the island, there must be rural areas.
No. It has to be completely a cityscape. The whole island has to be a cityscape because rural people are idiots, according to this individual. And then the story that I haven't even addressed yet, coming out of Alabama, is that you actually have to be men have to be sterilized by the time they're 50 or by their third child. But that won't be an issue because heterosexual relationships are banned anyway.
Right.
But we're just going to sterilize men when they're 50. It's just, this is.
This is Alabama saying this.
Yes, but we'll go into that in just a second. Let's finish with this. What is going to happen to this imaginary fictional island?
Eventually, 60 years, everyone will be gone.
I don't even think they last 60 years. I mean, the fact that they don't allow any rural environment. Who's producing their food?
Right. So maybe they'd last 10, maybe 5. Cannibals for about 5 years.
It depends on how many people were there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just it's absolutely ludicrous, and it really showcases the absolute insanity of leftism. And in one of our previous stories, Gabe, we were talking about that those that identify as Marxists, what was the number? 38% have mental health issues.
Yeah.
I believe we're proving the point right here with all of these stories.
A bunch of unstable blue-haired people that lie on the ground and moan and cry when Donald Trump won.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's get into this last story here. Okay. It's a proposed Alabama law that requires men to undergo a vasectomy after their 50th birthday or after they've had 3 children, whichever comes first. Not only that, but men have to actually pay for this as well. So it's coming out of your own pocket.
It's just rich.
It is. And so, what she's actually, this representative is saying, this is a response to the fact that there's all these calls for abolishing abortion. Okay, so then she came out with this because she said that there's nothing in Alabama state law that actually dictates men's reproductive rights. And so I don't necessarily know if she's serious about this or if she's just trying to prove a point.
Right.
But still, she introduced it, and so this is what she will be known for.
Yeah, and also, it's gotta, even though whether she's serious or not, it has some crypticness of their agenda written within it. One of the things on this is either 50th birthday or the birth of their third child. It reminds me of China. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's very socialistic, very controlled narrative. So this is what they want. They want control.
Now, I'm going off of memory here, but I believe the one-child policy of China resulted in like 336 million deaths of babies. It's incredible, the amount
Kids
of
left in the
children that
woods.
they were killed. Yes. Well, parents deciding to do that, or you had the mobile execution vans, which can actually roll up on a woman if she's pregnant in China. Now, they've gone away from this policy, so they say, but they can actually, if the state knew that you already had a baby,
right,
and they saw you pregnant, they could roll up on you in this mobile execution van, just grab you, abort your child right there in the van, and then throw you back out on the street bleeding.
The irony, though, Caleb, is this is a society that never had a constitution. This is a society for hundreds and hundreds of years, thousands of years, has a forced, controlled culture. They have been living in dense city centers for thousands of years. It's just their culture. But us, for the last, 1776, we have embraced liberty, freedom, and yet we're spiraling down this toilet bowl of socialism so quickly, and yet we've had freedom. It's like, it reminds me of just a thankful teenager who's had years and years and years of awesome parenting, but yet they're just going through an angsty moment and they're ready to flush it all down with the response, "I hate you, Dad."
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of angst. You're absolutely right in these leftist ideologies, and it's basically it's like, you see like dog poop on the lawn, and then somebody like Bernie Sanders comes over and sprinkles some sprinkles on it.
Yeah,
it's like, ta-da!
Here we go.
Here we go. This one's gonna be good, guys. Come on over. Are we really that stupid that we're gonna go over there and step in it because it has sprinkles on it? No. We have to fight for this country. And I know Gabe and I beat this drum all the time, but it's something we really believe in.
Yeah, don't back away. Don't back down. They're trying to twist the word patriot into something that it never was. They're twisting it into white nationalism. Don't back down from these term steals. They have us, but they do not own us. We are a liberty-minded society. We've got to keep it. Our forefathers fought too hard for it.
Yeah.
Our grandparents fought too hard for it. My grandfather, his parents were born in Mexico. My grandfather came into this country legally. So we can't back down.
No, exactly. All right, we're out of time. Remember, it's the insanity of the left. All right, Church and State is brought to you in part by Covenant Church. Always remember the tree of liberty is most likely a birch. And with that, Church and State is out.
God bless.